Good afternoon, ma'am. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Stella Okosiboji, and I work with Nigerian Women in Public Relations as the Programs and Membership Executive. So we are honored to have you, Mabel, join us today. Thank you so much for your time. Mabel Adeteye is an official member of the Forbes Communications Council with an exceptional brand communications expert specializing in strategic communications, brand management, and public relations. With an impressive 15 years of experience, she has excelled in various areas, including strategy, marketing communication, brand and product management, digital media marketing, events planning and management, CSRO, and sustainability. In her 15 years career, Mabel has showcased her extensive knowledge, expertise, and professional judgment by managing numerous high profile communications initiatives for both local and international brands. Our portfolio includes successful corporate restructuring, product introductions, market rollouts, international crisis management. She's an accredited public relations professional with the Chartered Institute of Public Relations UK. She's also a member of the Nigerian Institute of Public Relations, and she has a lot of certifications around the world. She's a member of the world's largest and most influential PR and communications membership body, Public Relations and Communications Association, that is PRCA. She's currently the head of brands and marketing communications at Wema Bank. Thank you so much, Ma. We are honored to have you do this with us. We are eager to know how you got into public relations and communications. Was it something you knew for a very young age? Like, this is what I wanted to do, or did you stumble on it? We just want to know how you got into public relations and communications.
Okay, thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here. So your question is around if this was something I wanted to do from the get-go. Yes, absolutely. So I had two that's aspiration. I had two things that I wanted to do. I wanted to be a medical doctor, and I wanted to do communication, right? Medical doctor, I later realized that I can't do this because I have phobia for blood. And at the point of knowing that there's no way you can survive that sector or that profession without having to see that, and I can't stand it. So I had my second option, which is communication. For communication, it was clear also for me the area of communication that I wanted to go into. I knew I wanted to do something around perception, around communicating with people, but I didn't want to do in journalism. So I was clear in the part of communication that I wanted to do. And even while I was in school, so if you study mass communication, you will have area of interest in terms of your core subject that you'll be asked to select. And it was clear for me when that came up to say, okay, what area would you want to select as your core in mass communication? And I selected two: advertising and public relations. Advertising, I love writing. I love writing. I love storytelling, and so that gave me that interest in advertising, because you get to write a lot of copies, you get to prepare advert materials and the likes. And then communication, because it has a lot of speaking, it has a lot of ideation, it has a lot of strategy in it, it has a lot of you thinking deeper and then coming up with solutions, managing people and all of that. So that impacted my decision towards that the profession. And outside school, when I left school, even when I was going for the youth service corps, I was determined. as to where I truly want to serve and what I want to do. And glory be to God, my posting was posted to somewhere within my field. Also to mention that even while I was in school, I did a bit of journalism also. Outside school, I did a bit of journalism because my understanding with public relations is you have to understand like a 360-degree communication to be able to manage perception, to be able to understand communication channels, to be able to understand the strategy that works for where and what to do for what brand, right? So that really gave me the, should I say, the direction, clear direction as to where I should go and what I should do. And all through my 16 years journey, post school, I have been practicing communication. Public relations, strategic communication, corporate communication, crisis management, digital communication, digital PR, marketing comms, perception management, brand management, product rollout. I've been able to do that, storytelling, production, content creation, media relations, media management. I've been able to do that across my 16 years journey in this field, and I'm grateful. I'm grateful for the experience. I'm grateful for the impact. I'm grateful for the legacy. I'm grateful for the achievement so far.
All right, thank you. The part that you said it is important that as we do communication, it's important we know all the aspects of communication. And I think it is very important for you to succeed, for you to have a clear path, and for you to clearly know what you want to do. Like you knew from the get go that you wanted to do communications, and I think that really um, skyrocketed or pivoted your career to a higher place. And yes, we see the great work that you're doing. Well done, ma'am. So yes, we want to know about some successful campaigns or projects you've worked on. Wema Bank just celebrated 80th anniversary, and you mentioned now that you currently have a campaign ongoing. So walk us through how do you do these brilliant campaigns? How do you bring them to life? Like we see these campaigns and we're like, wow, like you're everybody in the industry is like you're doing a very great work. So the campaigns are really outstanding. We are not seeing the numbers, we're seeing new things, we see amazing things, excellence. So you can, if you can just tell us how you do these things.
So I think for me is the thirst of wanting to do more. I think is wanting to not rely on the old glory, not wanting to repeat your strategy over and over and over again. One of the things that I tell people is the tools are there, the channels are there, the platforms are there, the how to are there. But what stands you out is the strategy to be able to communicate, to be able to come up with that tactics, that idea that fits into your target audience, and then also understanding what the journey is like for the people that you're engaging and the objectives that you want to drive. Over my 16 years career, I'm proud to say that I've worked on local and international campaigns that I'm proud of today. I'm proud of them because they contributed largely to the success of the brands and the companies that I have worked for, or the campaigns that I've handled over time. Why is that so? It's so because I find myself not wanting to do the norm. I find myself thinking through. I find myself wanting to go above and beyond to so there's the satisfaction that comes with when you do something and you're genuinely proud of it, and then you go back and look at, yes, it can look as though it was impossible to achieve those things, but the commitment for me, where you see the clearer picture. I take my time. I take my time to, at my own free time, free space, I take my time to dissect carefully what exactly I want to do, think through it. How does it impact what? How do I do this? What would it achieve? From the short time to the medium time to the long term, what is the impact? For me, as it's not just about creating. If you read a lot about the things that I talk about out there, is not just about coming up with campaign. It's about coming up with campaigns that truly it's like a legacy. It's coming up with a campaign that truly you can measure the impact. You can. It's like, for me, it's like nurturing something. You you're coming up with a campaign that I'll give you an example. So today is Children's Day, and today we have a Wema Bank 1 day MDC that we're celebrating in the bank. It's something that has never been done in the industry before. This is us as a bank not wanting to do the norm. This is us understanding where we are in the industry and what truly would attract and communicate our vision, our goal to our target audience. How do we get them? How do we give them the opportunities that they desire, that take them to achieving their own goals also? I think also for me is when you're coming up with campaigns, it's not from your own perspective alone. The campaigns are not meant for you. The campaigns are meant for your target audience. The campaigns are meant for people who truly would engage with you. They're meant for people who would see, and they're different people. You need to take your time to understand their persona. You need to take your time to understand what they truly want and come up with something that connects with them. Connection is very, very key. It's very, very important. And also the ability to be able to see something through. I'll be very honest with you. It's not easy. I'll be very honest with you. It's not something that you can just tick off the box. But when you have the commitment, when you see the bigger picture, when I also tell people that as a communication professional or expert, you must be able to see the bigger picture. It goes beyond just ticking the box right now. It goes beyond just saying that people are doing that, you just want to do it. Because what happens is you won't stand out. What happens there is your campaign will not stand out. What happens there is you're not able to measure impactful result. So you must also be able to think through. You must also be able to see the bigger picture and then come up with something that you have carefully, I pride myself with carefully creating my campaign, carefully creating. Thought process for me also is very, very important, that you carefully create it. You look at all the elements. It's not from just one angle. I mean, there's sometimes where we were carried away with the platform that we want to use to communicate. And that's the only thing we're focusing on, forgetting that a lot of people with different characters, with different behaviors, with different interests would feed on that particular platform. How do you create a campaign? How would your messaging stand out? How would your design stand out? How would your branding stand out? What timelines are you using? How are you creating those things to be able to stand out in the midst of everybody uses 24 hours, right? How do I get their attention? How do I get them to focus on me? How do I get them to focus on my campaign? How do I get them to focus on my brand? How do I get them to also assimilate and understand what I am trying to communicate? There are times also where I tell people that we sometimes get carried away with the noise. We sometimes get carried away. We just want to be there. We just want to put this out there. But how do you communicate that people can remember 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things about the campaigns that you've rolled out, because you understand their behavior, because you understand their journey to where they're supposed to get to, from either the awareness level, the way you even place your communication, your messaging when you want to drive awareness, and then how you communicate is different when you want to truly drive them to take a desired action. So all of these things are the things that we need to put together, that I have put together over time, to be able to create campaigns that are compelling, campaigns that are captivating, campaigns that resonate with people, campaigns that are engaging, and campaigns that actually stand out.
All right. So after the 80th anniversary, how did you feel?
80th for us as the bank was a big thing. It was not even for Wema Bank alone. Is 80th is even as an individual, you're celebrating 80 years. Sincerely, it is something that is worth celebrating. Not to talk of a brand that has been in the industry for 8 decades, that a bank that has transitioned, a bank that has transformed, a bank that Wema Bank today, we pride ourselves as the oldest surviving. I mean, you have stories to tell, and they're not just oldest. The fact that we are the most innovative bank, I'm sure you know about Alat, and when Alat came into the industry, how it transformed the industry. And if you look at a lot of all the first that the bank has done, you would agree with me that when we were celebrating Wema at 80 was truly a story that is worth telling. We went down to the history, to the background. How did we start? What was the vision like? And are we fulfilling the dream? Are we fulfilling the vision? The lives that we have impacted. I met a lot of people during Wema at 80 interviews that I sat in and I conducted, and hearing the powerful stories about how Wema Bank has impacted their lives, how they've journeyed with the bank, how they've seen the bank transition, how they've seen the bank dominated, how the bank is actually dominating now, the numbers that the bank is posting. It is truly a story that is worth telling. And when you see things like that, when you hear things like that, as a communication professional, expert who truly knows what he or she is doing sincerely, you will be compelled. So for me, it was just a natural thing. For me, it was something that truly I could connect with. I could connect with the brand. I could connect with the story. I could connect with the genuineness in the story. I could connect with the impacts that the bank has had over the years. And I could connect with the lives that the bank has touched. So imagine the one day MD CEO that we're doing today. I'm sure that you agree with me that the boy will never forget something like this. Opportunities here, opening doors for the child, exposing the child to things that you can't pick on the streets. MD leaving a seat for you to run the affairs of the bank for one day. Announcing his 1 day salary to you for today, meeting all the executive, having meetings with them. So these are things that would really connect you to want to do more, would connect you to want to amplify the story of this bank. And I'm excited with the feedback that we've received over since we launched the campaign in February. It's been amazing. It's been amazing because people can see the genuineness in the story. People are proud of the story, and people are proud of what the bank has done over the years and the lives that we've touched. The theme for the celebration is 80 years of impact, a future filled with possibilities. We looked at the 80 years that Wema Bank has been in its existence, and we can see true impact. We can see impactful results across different segments, across different people. We can see the true impact that the bank has done over the years. And then we're telling you that the future with this bank is filled with a lot of possibilities. And this is the bank to bank with right now. It is.
It's the way you speak about the bank. I had so much passion, and I must really commend you because it's the way you carry the brand as if it's you. I can remember seeing a photo shoot when you started posting about the 80th anniversary. It's really great to see. As you were talking about the bank, I was having goosebumps. Yes, the campaign, one day CEO, you would definitely and never forget it, and that is true connection and true impact. Because even if he grows up, he still remembers that day, and it drives him towards a positive path, because what he's actually learning in a day is not learning it in any classroom. So I think it's a great one, creating impact. Yes, Wema Bank has been creating impact. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. So we want to know how you collaborate with other teams or departments. And we know the bank, they have various departments. We have the finance department. How do you collaborate with these teams or departments to align your strategies to achieve the broader business goals?
I think also, if you are a brand and communication expert, right, you understand that your role is central to the business, is central to the organization, where people, you need people need you to be able to communicate. you need to be able to showcase what the organization is doing. Hence, you need to collaborate, because this, like I said, the story is not from you. It's not your. It's not from your eyes alone. It's not just you. You're pushing communication. You're pushing visibility. You are telling stories. You're creating narrative about what people are doing, about what departments are doing, about the new product that they're launching, about what people need to hear, what people need to know, about how they're servicing XYZ, right? So it is very important for you to be able to collaborate, and not just collaborating alone, being able to understand their operation, being able to understand what their goals are, because it is only when you understand what their goals are and what their objectives are that you'll be able to advise in terms of the communication, ideas, communication, strategies to be able to drive their objectives. So it is very, very important that as a brand and communication expert, you must immerse yourself with the other functions in the organization. You must be able to collaborate. You must be able to hold meetings with them. You must be able to understand their business. You must be able to understand their operation, so that you are able to communicate with their audience. You are able to provide communication tactics and solutions that addresses their communication need. If you fail to understand that, if you fail to collaborate, if you fail to understand what the operations are, you will struggle to communicate, and then also find the balance, because you're like the middleman, where you stand guiding other units, other departments, and the public, both internal and external, in terms of what the communication should look like. What should we be communicating? How should we be communicating? What should be the perception? How should we be creating the narrative? What should the ideas be? You are like the watch. You're like the gatekeeper. You are very, very instrumental to some of the things that you're also trying to achieve and drive, because they have customers that they want to engage with. They have stakeholders that they want to communicate with. So it's very important that you collaborate as much as possible and be able to help them manage their goals and let it align with the overall corporate goal, communication goal, strategies of the organization. And with that alone, you can genuinely and truly impact, drive an impactful communication campaign.
Thank you for sharing. Yes, it is not your perspective or from your view alone. You have to be able to work with other teams to achieve the business goals. Thank you so much. So we want to know, you've been working as a brand and communications professional for over 15 years. So what would you say is the most challenging part of working in public relations and communications, putting the fact that you're a female?
So I think for me would be that communication, and I'm sure that a lot of people would agree with me. Communication is something that people have access to. So when I was speaking earlier, I said something about the tools are there, the platforms are there. So not even now where digital media is there. So people have access to these things. And then it can be challenging when you are trying to convince people that this is the way to go. This is the channel to use. This is how to communicate. Because the fact that you can post on your social media platform, the fact that you can share something with your friends, people automatically believe that when you're driving brand narrative, when you are handling brand communication, that's like the norm. So it's that challenge of getting people to understand that communication is strategic. Communication is truly strategic. Communication is not as it comes. Communication must be fit for purpose. Communication must be carefully created. Communication must align. Communication must take you somewhere. Communication must be processed. So is that all getting people to really understand that? And that's for me, that's the challenge. But I'm grateful to God for the wisdom to be able to manage that. But that for me is just the challenge that I see across different industries and across even the generation that we are in presently.
All the things you just said, yes, it is very important. Everybody thinks communication is easy. Yes, until you actually need it to yield results for you, then you know that it is very strategic. Yes. So, how do you stay updated with the industry trends? How do you stay updated with new ideas, new strategy? Just like you said, there's digital PRO, there's a lot that's going on. People know the how, there are tools out there, but how do you stay updated?
For me, is I read a lot. I read a lot. I I take my time to dissect what I have done. I take my time to scrutinize my workings. I take my time to really break down what I have done and what I'm doing. And also for me is what I have done over time is being creative, is thinking outside the box, is I remember there was a time I was having conversation with someone and we said that if you understand the way public relations started, it was just about media, right? It was just about writing press releases, but communication has gone far, far beyond that. The people that says what, to the way they say it, to the timing, to how it's crafted specifically for something. Remember when I said something about it being for fit for purpose? It's no longer a one size fit all. It's something that changes every time. It's something that you adapt as it goes and as it comes. So for me, how have I been able to stay on top of this is by being creative, is by not being content with what yesterday's glory, is by not being doing the norm, is by taking my time also to dig deep into my workings, what I'm doing, how does it impact what is the meaning, what is the meaning of this to what. So I do a lot of those things and it has really, really helped. I also follow trends. I understand that consumer behaviors are changing. I understand that even as an individual we're changing. So the way I communicated with you yesterday sincerely isn't the way I wanted to communicate with me today. Maybe because I'm in one mood swing or the other, or maybe because I'm reading something somewhere. And there's sometimes on the platform that I read something is not where I'm going to take the action because I don't expect that platform would take me. So there are a lot of those things that happen, and I've constantly used this and more to be able to stay on top of my game.
Somebody that is looking up to you, Nigerian Women in Public Relations provide resources for young people, entry level, mid level, people that are looking to get into public relations. So one of the aim is for them to look at this video, get inspiration, get direction, and get on the right path when it comes to public relations. So a young lady looking at you and saying, what advice will you give to them? Say they want to climb up the ladder. The person is saying, in the next 5 years, I want to become the head of communication. And in the next 10 years, I want to be the head of communication for an international brand. What advice would you give to that person?
Is to be committed to the journey. Sincerely, be committed to the journey. I started from ground zero. Like I started from elementary and then I put in the work. It wasn't the time when I was looking at the time to say, oh, I have to close at this time. I started from the basic. I was very, 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 I keep stressing it, very committed to learning the 360. Even when the tools are not needed, even when those strategies are not needed, I was committed to the journey. I was speaking and learning as I go. I was committed to doing so much. I was committed to putting my hands, when you say do the dirty work, I was committed to who is going to do this. I was committed to doing that, even when it wasn't on my table, even when I am supposed to pass it on, even when I was supposed to just sit back and allow another person do it and come. I was committed to going to them, asking questions. I was committed to sitting beside them. I was committed to learning. I was committed to people scrutinizing my work. I can tell you there was a time that in my journey, we were going to, we had a pitch. We were pitching for an international brand, and I'd worked on a presentation presentation for that brand, and it was about, I think, 90 something pages, a PowerPoint presentation that I thought I had killed, right? And then when I was presenting, my boss looked at it and said, you know what, Mabel, you've done zero. Like, presenting 90 something page and is zero. There is no, like, zero. You know, it wasn't that
Wow.
page one, page two, it was zero. And I looked at it and I went back to the drawing board, sat down. I remember that I had to stay back in the office that day. I remember that I had to call a lot of my team, a lot of my colleagues in the office to sit down. I had to break, and like you know, when you shred something and then you start all over and
Right.
all over again. And when we came back and we presented that thing, it was amazing. It was amazing. And then we went on to pitch and we won the pitch. What did that teach me? That so imagine if that day I just said to myself that, man, I can't start. This person should tell me what exactly is wrong with this. I can't start all over again. I probably wouldn't understand that there are days when this thing isn't just cutting. I've had cases where you send something and you are asked to rework it over and over, just wanting it to be good. And at the end of the day, I see these things and I'm excited. I'm happy with the output. I'm happy with the way it turned out. So for me, is learn, be committed to the journey, be ready to invest your time, be ready to invest your energy, and have the willingness to do more. Have the willingness to do more. We're in the age where things can be easily passed on. We're in the age when we just want to do so much, right? We want to move. We see things flying. Sometimes we don't see. And I have this conversation with my team members when we're talking about, the output or some of the things that we've done. And we say that nobody's seeing us when we are having sleepless nights. Nobody's seeing us when we're here till about 8, till about 9. We're trying to cook up something. We have small ideas and we are fleshing it out. We're making it bigger, and we're looking at how do we amplify this? How do we make this story? How do we do this? So nobody's seeing all of these things, and people just see their output. People just see that, wow, this is fine, this is good, this is all these things. Nobody's seeing the days where you're just cracking your brain, the days when you say, oh, this isn't working, and then you're reworking it. So we should be ready and be committed to the journey and be ready to invest our time. Also, please ask questions. Ask questions. I tell people that be ready to get people to scrutinize, to criticize your work. Be open to that feedback. Be open to, when people are reviewing your work, ask questions. Ask questions as if you don't even understand what they're saying, because what it does for you is it gives you clarity. And when you have clarity with something, ideas will come. And also sit down, and there are days when there is nothing really happening. What are you doing with those days? What are you thinking of? What are you creating? How are you doing? I tell people that the best time to really do the work sincerely is even when people are not watching you, because at that time you can make mistakes. See, I have made a lot of mistakes. I've done a lot of, in my drawing board, in my drawing table, I do all of those. I make those mistakes because at that time nobody is pressurizing you. You're not under any pressure. You're just doing your thing, and you're learning as you're doing those things. And at the end of the day, when you come out to showcase that work, you've been able to cross a lot of hurdles, and the people just see the picture and they're marveled and they're wild. And so be committed to the journey, be ready to learn, ask questions, and have the willingness to do more.
Willingness to do more, because youths of nowadays, we just want to do it quick fix, move on to other things. Yes, the willingness to do more and to ask questions. It's important to ask questions because yes, sometimes people will say you ask too much questions, but it gives you the clarity you need. Thank you so much, Mrs. Mabel. We are very grateful for your time. Thank you so much for what you do in the industry. Like I went to WIMCA. That was 2023 when you spoke about always showing up at work, and when you got to a stage in your life and people were like, I don't think you should be showing up. After that day, you still showed up, and they were like, are you not going to rest? And when I heard you say that, it shows that the consistency and the passion for the job is there, and it sets you apart. So thank you so much, Ma. I appreciate the great work that you do, and always willing to share your knowledge is very, very important, and we appreciate you. And we know that you definitely be on global stage because Nigeria is too small for you. So thank you so much, Ma, for your time. We really appreciate you. Thank you so
Thank you
much.
so much for having
Thank you.
me. I appreciate the platform. I appreciate the time, and I don't take it for granted. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you, Ma. To enjoy the rest of your day.
And you too. Bye.